Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're back. How to use the vet wrap ringside before you go into the show ring. First of all, there's like 1,000 different colors of this stuff. Who cares? I kind of swear by Tractor Supply. I tend to get my best deals. I just buy like a whole box of them. Tractor Supply has really good prices. I also prefer just using half of these long ones. I like the shorter ones, but many times you can get a better price with more footage on the longer rolls. So big deal. When I'm at the dog show, I just cut them in half. Make sure that in your tack box you always have a cheap pair of shears. Go to the dollar store or the 5 and under store and get cheap shears. That's what you cut this with. It does have like an adhesive on it, and it will ruin your good trimming shears, so don't do it. Cutting paper with your real hair cutting shears will also ruin them. So just keep one of these around in your tack box and you're good to go. Again, I just simply laid it out on the table, cut it in half. As you can see, as far as the length, I don't have a clue. Okay, here's a Belgian comb. It's a little bit longer than 2 Belgian combs. So whatever that is, it is. We all eyeball this stuff. This isn't nuclear science. Right. So I've gone ahead and, like I said before, I washed her ears. I rinsed them out well. I used Dawn, just a couple droplets of Dawn. That's pretty much what everybody uses these days. And now we're going to take the ear wrap. Now, a couple things before I do this. This is one of the very, very, very last things that most everybody does at the end of grooming the dog. The reason for it is because no matter how dry you get these, I can still feel that they're a little damp. Any dampness in the hair is going to curl the hair. And even if you blow them out to perfection, by the time you get into the ring, a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour later, they're going to curl up. They're going to look like crap. And you're going to go in the ring against all the professional handlers and all the professional breeders, and their dogs are going to look runway perfect, and yours going to look disheveled. You've got 3 minutes to show that judge your dog. It needs to be in the absolute most perfect condition, in appearance, in showmanship, in personality, with you smiling at the dog because you're just so happy to be there. 3 minutes, that's all you've got. So the reason for the vet wrap, it's real simple. You blow the hair out, it's very, very straight. This keeps the ear hair straight until you go into the ring. There's no other magic for it. I have known dogs that when you put the ear wraps on them, if you put them away in the crate, they will eat their ears and their ear wrap off. So don't be negligent. Once these ear wraps go on, generally speaking, you'll see the dogs stay up on the tables until they go into the ring. So if you do not know how your dog's going to behave with these ear wraps, I do not ever recommend putting the ear wraps on them, putting the dog away in the crate. If you have a seasoned show dog and you're absolutely sure about it, do whatever you want to do. I just don't recommend doing that because they chew off the ears and you're kind of screwed for a while as far as showing. All right, at least that dog. All right, so here it is. I like to start at the top of the ear because if you just start where the hair is, all they have to do is shake their head once and this stuff falls off. You obviously don't want to wind it so tight that you're cutting off circulation. This is not a tourniquet for surgery. This is just simply a cosmetic thing. So it doesn't really matter where you start. I usually start at the top of the ear, do one full around. This stuff will stick to itself, if you will, right? And again, I'm not making it so tight that I'm going to cut off the circulation of the ear. And if you can see, I may be leaving 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch between each one of these twirl arounds. So you just keep going, and I probably didn't even make this long enough. You keep going, you keep going, and you keep going. Now, it would have been nice, and then I just like to kind of push it shut. It would have been nice to go the whole length of the ear on the next one. I will try to do that. But I mean, that's about it right there. The key to it is that you want to start at the top of the ear leather and then just simply work your way down. Okay, so I'm going to take my next piece and give myself a little bit longer length. I just have a puny little roll left from the last dog show. So I didn't really cut it as long as I probably should have. Okie doke. All right, so there it is. Like I said, I just cut it in half. All right, so here we go with the other one. So, and I don't think there's a back or a front to these. Somebody will probably now go on Facebook and do a 45-minute thing about how Debbie was wrong. There is a back and there is a front. All right. You know, oh, CNN for sure is going to pick this up. It's going to be headline news for the next 24 hours. All right, they'll have experts and everything else on there. All right, so you start at the top of the ear and you go around fully one time to capture that ear wrap up at the top. Okay, this stuff is stretchy, so yeah, go ahead, stretch it. And then it's not really hard science here. You just very carefully just twirl it around, and again, I'm leaving about not a little bit more than a 1/4 inch, not quite a 1/2 inch in between the two sections. And you just keep going down the ear and down the ear and down the ear. I gave myself about an additional 2 inches when I cut this one, which for all intents and purposes is probably better. There you go. Okay. Now for me, I'm just going to kind of smash it together because it is going to have its own. And there we go. Right. On this one, I probably didn't cut it long enough, so there's a little bit hanging out there. You know, big deal. I wouldn't throw this whole ear wrap away to do that because this stuff is pricey. And the worst part about this stuff is, you know, you use it once and you pretty much pull it off the dog's ears as you go in the show ring, and it ends up in the trash can. This is a once and you're done. So if you don't cut it off long enough, well, just take another little 2 or 3 inch piece and continue wrapping the end of the ear. Right? Don't be silly and start all over. It's not that big of a deal. And there we go. Ear wraps are done. Now, while I've got her up on the table and got some of your attention, figure it might be nice to go ahead and show you a few tricks. Also, before you go in the show ring and while you're in the show ring, a lot of times you'll see people with towels and water and buckets of ice if it's hot and equipment like this beside the show ring. So when the judge is not looking at your dog, okay, take your slicker and spray it with water. Okay. Now, take the leg of the dog, okay, starting at the foot, and work your way up with just a slightly sprayed slicker. Now, what am I doing? I'm enhancing the bone of the dog. We all like springers that have nice, big, round, substantial bone. And if you can see the difference here, boy, I can. If you can see the difference between the leg that's just smooth and normal, if you will, and then the one that I just did that little 2-minute trick, that 2-second trick on, look at the big difference. Look at the big difference, huge. And that's really not anything that anybody's ever going to notice. It's not like anybody noticed that you did that. And if you pay attention to handlers, breeders in the ring, oftentimes you'll be seeing them doing this, and that's why they're doing it. It just enhances the bone of the dog. Let's get you back on the table. So you can see that little bit of a trick. Here we go, Kira. Okay, I thought it would also be fun. I'm going to let her go. I thought it might also be fun for everybody to see what is in a tack box. And this, of course, is for people who are just coming into the sport. I know we've got a little bit of a layoff here, but why not? It's kind of like rooting around a woman's pocketbook. It's something no man ever wants to do. I have had this case for probably 20 years. Prior to that, I bought those big fancy ones and all the metal, and you put the spray bottles in it, and because for 20 years I was a professional dog show handler with all breeds. I mean, so really weekend to weekend, I didn't know if I'd have a Tibetan Terrier, an all-legged sheepdog, or a Mastiff to show. So in those regards, perhaps that was handy. But all in all, especially just for somebody with one breed of dog, this works. And it's obviously just a simple toolbox. So, right, on the top, if you can see, and again, this is for new people, all right? I like this because I can have all my collections of combs, and sometimes I'll just use this on my armband in the ring. That's all you need, right? Okay. I always like to have pens handy. One thing I don't have in here right now is a full-size magic marker. And I'm going to suggest you always have that, because if you lose your armband or you misplace your armband, you'll always have extra armbands in your tack box, which I'll show you. You flip them over and you write the number 42 on them. Don't be going crazy because you lost your armband. Just write a new one. All right. In here, this is just for clearing eyes. It's Visine. Okay, for me, I've got my Tylenol and my Advil. Little Post-it notes come in handy. You're always good with your lipstick. Okay, this is black chalk. I've heard that they don't even make that anymore. So that goes to show you how long I've had that. And I'll show you what it's for. The two dogs I have here, I don't need it for them. It's for a Springer's pigment around their eyes, their nose, should match the color of their coat. I typically, if I breed liver to liver, the next generation, I always breed liver to black. I've done this for 50 years. I will continue to do that because it keeps my liver Springers very dark liver, and it also keeps the pigment around their eyes and their nose very dark. If you keep going liver to liver to liver to liver breedings, one of the first things you're going to lose is all that pigment. So again, you've got 3 minutes to show your dog to the judge. And I'm sorry, a lot of things that we do in the show ring are cosmetic. Yeah, okay, well, what can I tell you? It is, right? Okay, just Vaseline, things that make sense. This is one of the most essential things to have in your tack box. And it's not to light up a cigarette or joint at the end of the day. And maybe while I have Kira here, I'll show you what this is for. It's very good. This is for my own hair, haha. I have this in here, and actually I don't use it for toenails. I use this to cut off tie wraps, those plastic, electric, and plumbing tie wraps. This is the best thing to cut them off with. I have done my homework at home with my dog toenails. Right, you want to give out business cards, you can have those in there. Right, just little things, tweezers, extra pins for blanketing your dog, right? So there you go. Screwdriver for tightening or fixing my equipment as I go. I don't even know what I have in here. Oh, old business cards and receipts. That was a good idea. Pretty smart. So that's what I keep. This is just the stuff that I want to grab and go, grab and go, grab and go as I go through my day. Put that to the side. Oh boy, now we come to the good stuff. So I hope everybody can see. Really, I have taken 6 Springers to specialties, and this tack box is perfectly fine. I take other carrying boxes for towels and my buckets that I use to wash with, and the hair dryers and the bottles. Quite frankly, I don't want the bottles in here. They're just going to get everything wet and yucky. All right, so This is essential for top coat work, something we might go into in the future. I like to have two different kinds of slickers because when I use one for drying a dog, then it's wet. And sometimes I even have cornstarch in it, right? So I use this one to knock out the cornstarch. Then I know this one is always okay. A little bit more vet wrap. Okay. Now, this is just a Ziploc bag. Don't just dump everything in there willy-nilly. Use these Ziploc bags. So these are just an assortment of leashes. And actually, I got most of these from Lorene Camisi. I mentioned that I was low on these on these leashes one day, and the next thing I know, in the mail, I'm getting like 24 of these things. I don't know if she's driving to warehouses and sneaking them out the back. I don't know, but she gave me about 1 million of those. So, and then, you know, right, just anything that you might use at the dog show. So that's what's in there. I mentioned these tie wraps. Give me tie wraps and duct tape and I can make the world. And guess what? It's a phone charger. How many times have you left home without a phone charger or need a phone charger to show? Well, just keep one in your tack box. Not a big deal. Probably the most important piece of grooming equipment I have and will ever own in my lifetime, and that is the pumice stone. Primarily used on liver springers, but I tend to keep and show more liver springers than black, so for me. And this is the most important piece of grooming equipment that anyone can ever own, and that's pumice stone. Okay, and then look at this. You get to the dog show and you've left something behind, a hairdryer. You've left a hairdryer behind. You go, ah! Right, so I just got this from Sally's. I don't even know that I've ever used it, maybe once or twice. And it's just a teeny tiny little fold-up hairdryer. And I just keep it at the box of my, at the bottom of my tack box, just in case. You have to have a mirror. And that will sit there all day long so you can check just how beautiful you are before you go in the show ring. More, I'm sure these are what I had left over from Lorene, and I've never even opened them. So these are probably brand new. This is really important. The rubber bands that you get from the stewards at the ring, okay, always have some of these in your tack box. Always, always, always. I can't tell you how many thousands of times I have needed them and I don't have them back in the tack area. I want to get my armband and my whole little outfit together, and crap, I don't have one of these, and I'm sitting ringside and I'm fiddling with the dog. No, just keep them ready, just right in your tack box. There they are, right? Batteries, that's probably the old days when I had cameras and stuff. Not even sure why I have these anymore, but there, I got batteries. It's been a long time since I've been to the bottom of this tack box. Look at this. One of those little dollar deodorants, right? Right. You've had a really rough day. This could come in handy, right? Ear powder. I don't use it on springers, but again, I have shown miniature wire dachshunds. My son bred them for a number of years, and I would certainly have a use for that on a terrier coat. And look, we're always at the dog shows. You're short on plugs. You get there late. Everybody's already plugged into the wall, and you say, hey, can I plug into your box, please? Or can we share the outlet on the wall? Just look, I just have 2 of these. Cheap, cheap, cheap. And they're just in a little Ziploc bag at the bottom of my tack box. Very, very, very important. I keep a stack of leftover armbands. Not necessarily for the number in the front, but again, if you can't find your armband, you've got your magic marker in your tack box, and you make one. The other thing is these are super, super flimsy, so when you put them on your arms, how do you even keep your comb and everything in there? So I just keep a bunch of these, and I take 3 or even 4, and then I take my real number for the day. I put them on top. Oh, and I did not learn this from Nancy Pelosi. I've been actually doing this for years. She probably learned it from one of us. So if you take this and you just put a little tear there and a little tear there, that way when you have your rubber bands on, they catch the armband and they hold it. How cool is that? Then you can put your scissor on the top, and the kind of dog treats that I use in the ring are phenomenal, the Triumphs. I also tuck them back there. So good, that's easy. Okay, right? The all-important favorite perfume or cologne. Okay, I think that's Giorgio, right? So just, once and you're done. But I mean, all this stuff that's in this tack box now has probably been in here for 10 years. Tie wraps, never leave home without these. I can't tell you how many things you can use these for. Just never leave home without them. So there those are. Okay, just get yourself, I love these. I never throw these away. If I buy nuts, I just keep them. And look, they're your cotton balls. But they're staying fresh, they're staying tidy. They're not getting all smashed down. Look how cute that is. And it's free. Look how cute that is. Oh, and thank you, Judy. I still have one of your little things you gave us in a little national bag. And this is actually razor blades. How cool was that? So look, Judy, I still have that in my tack box. Okay, just my little eye things for my glasses. Whoop. And then, sorry about that, somebody called. Yes, this is a bird wing. And yes, I use it. Any dogs that I hunt with, I might take it out and play. I might even use it for bait in the ring, just to get their attention. So yes, that is a chucker wing. Okay, and for us ladies, my jewelry case, I have everything in here, from earrings to my wedding rings in here. I never wear it because it'll get caught on everything I do. Right. One of my old Westminster best of breeds. So that's in here. A bunch more jewelry. And then look at this. This was like baby wipes. This box fits perfect. I have had this since Patrick was a baby. I mean, seriously, and he's like 30 years old and 6 foot tall. So in here is where I keep all my meds. I carry an entire pharmacy with me, from Tylenol powder, if they get diarrhea, to amoxicillin, to Clavamox, to anything that I feel like I might need on the road and I cannot get to a veterinarian. Band-Aids are in here. Yep, see, Clavamox, what did I tell you? Right, and in my old, when I was having specials, springers, I used to wrap their ears permanently in between dog shows and in between showing with baggies, the way they do standard poodles. So that's what that is. And anti-diarrhea, actually this is Tylenol, Panalog for the ears. So all your little medications can go in there. So there it is. So once again, if I can put this up maybe for everybody to see, I'm not sure how. So there we go. So over here, and again, this is for all the nice little new people. Over here, I have my mirrors. I have jewelry. These are all little things that I might wear on my neck. Put those there. More jewelry there. Headbands. More jewelry. And decals. All right. Then little by little, you just start putting the things in that you don't use the most. For me, that would be the batteries. And the pumice stones could certainly go on the bottom. Okay, tie wraps and your extra phone cord. Okay, extra leashes. Okay, there's my rubber bands. I usually actually keep them on top, so let's put them back out. Here's all my bag of leashes. And then even inside here, I have the leashes in their own bags so that they don't get all gnarly and all screwed up. Here are all the different adapters. Right, and again, this is one that I forgot to remind you to have. Okay? Right, it is always super nice to have the adapters that go from a 2 to 3 prong plug. You just never know where you're going to be, what the electric's going to be. You're going to be out in some scurvy barn. You never know. It's better to have it than not have it. And then my little cotton balls go back in there. Okay, Judy's little razors. Okay, right, my little deodorant, your powder, eyeglass wear, and then really just my brushes after that. And then this pops back on top. So you can see how easy. Thermometer for the dogs. So this carries everything. Here's a tooth scaler. So if I've forgotten to keep my dental work at home and I go, the judge is going to see that. It's usually back on at least I have this with me. Okay. Pens. Do you know how many times I get to a dog show and I cannot find a pen to write with? I mean, where are they? With the socks you lose when you do laundry? I mean, it's insane. So yes, I have pens. I need to put a bigger magic marker in here for my armbands. It probably went out. And of course, just keep yourself beautiful when you go in the show ring. See, I have one of these. All right, so that's what you put in your tack box. And look how easy. You don't need to spend a million zillion dollars. You are all set to go. For those who like a clock, right? I don't know, I got this as a prize from Purina, right? Then you can even set your little clock there along with your little mirror so that you're all set up for the day. And you just keep this open and there you are. And you have your whole box. So those are just some things that you might want to consider having in your tack box when you travel, when you go to the dog show. It doesn't take long. I keep this if I'm trying to get a piece of hair or something. Just, it's nice to have a little magnifying glass, especially when your eyes are going. And then, like I said, there's my tweezer. All right. So, and there we go. So you can see everything that fits in there, everything you would ever need. I can groom 6 or more dogs out of this tack box. Right. It needs to be clean because it's like really gross and yucky right now. I can't think of anything else to go over today. Today was a special request from someone who has a friend that's just learning to show dogs, and they wanted to see how to use the vet wrap on the ears before a dog show, and I thought it would be fun, since that person might be a beginner at dog shows, to show what things are really good to carry in your tack box. This tack box is never touched, never gone into. It'll go over my corner, and it just goes from dog show to dog show. I do not use anything that's in here at home. That way you don't get to the dog show and say, I left something at home. Why? Just have 2 of everything and just keep it here. So if you have something special that you'd like to see about living with springers at home, being a breeder and raising a litter at home, or grooming a springer, just shoot me a message, and I'll try to see if I can get it all together and show it to you. No problem. Anyway, here's Kira, and like I said, I trust her. I trust her not to screw around with the ear wrappers when she has them on. I mean, she's a veteran at all things. Right. So there they are. And of course, then right before you go into the show ring, and most of the time I forget and everybody's yelling at me, ear wrappers. Right. I mean, really, all you have to do is just start at the bottom and pull them off. Right. And try to find a trash can, but usually you can tell when springers are in the show ring because everybody's just put them on the floor outside the ring. So there we are with our ear wrappers. And as always, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's one of the cutest things anybody ever gave me. But it's 5 o'clock in the dog show ring. And I couldn't agree with that more, because trust me, the coffee has worn off and the wine hasn't kicked in yet. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.